My name is Ethan Vance. That day, I was just trying to take a shortcut to grab a fully loaded triple-decker Supreme breakfast burrito. That's when I saw her, a woman in a long red dress. So beautiful she didn't seem real, getting cornered by some guy with slick back hair and a face you just wanted to punch. "Isabel, you're almost 30, the guy sneered. "Stop acting so high and mighty. Besides me, who else would want an old woman like you?" The woman's eyes went cold. Then her gaze swept over and landed on me, peeking around the corner like an idiot, trying to catch the drama. She glided over, her slender arm linking with mine. The scent of perfume and the feeling of her soft body against my side hit me all at once. My entire system crashed. Isabel leaned in close, her breath warm against my ear, her voice a seductive whisper with a hint of desperation. "Hey, handsome, help me out here." What was happening? Who am I? Where am I? Old woman. That was a goddamn insult to the masterpiece of a woman standing next to me. Her skin was like porcelain, and the red dress hugged curves that could make a statue weep. Especially the hand on my arm. It was soft, warm, like polished marble that had been sitting in the sun. I think half my body just went numb. The slick-haired jerk, Trevor, saw this, and his face turned a nasty shade of green. "Isabel, what the hell is this? Who is he?" Isabel lifted her chin, pulling me a little more in front of her. "Allow me to introduce you. This is my boyfriend, Ethan." Hearing my own name come out of her mouth sent a jolt through me. Wait, you even know my name? Has my rugged charm and devil-may-care attitude already made me famous? Oh, right. My company ID badge was hanging around my neck. Trevor's eyes raked over me, full of disdain. "Him, Isabel, when did your standards get so low? Some random office drone. Does his entire outfit even cost $100? You'd rather pick up this piece of trash than accept me." The girl next to him, Tiffany, some influencer type with the same face as every other girl on TikTok, let out a giggle. "Izzy, that's not very nice of you," she cooed. "Trevor is so good to you. How could you find some broke loser just to make him mad? Look at his t-shirt. Are those pills?" I glanced down at my beloved t-shirt, a trusted companion for 3 years. So what if it's pilling? It's called vintage character euphemistic. Before I could even think of a comeback, Isabel spoke up. Her hand gave my arm a gentle squeeze. "Tiffany, my man is not someone you get a comment on." Her gaze shifted back to Trevor. "And you, Trevor, who I like is my business. I like him because he's genuine and kind, not like some people who reek of old money and desperation. His t-shirt has more integrity than your entire personality." Wow. This woman was a flamethrower. I mentally gave her a standing ovation. Trevor's face had gone from green to a deep purple. "Fina, just fine. Isabel, you're going to regret this." He glared at me, his eyes promising violence. "I'll remember you, buddy." I flashed him a wide, toothy grin. "Don't mention it, Mr. Kingston. If you want an autograph, you'll have to get in line. But since you did so much to bring us closer today, I can give you a 20% discount." In moments like these, showing fear is losing. You have to own the situation completely. Trevor looked like he was about to choke. Tiffany started to say something else, but Trevor grabbed her arm and dragged her away. "We're leaving." Watching them storm off, I let out a long breath. That was intense. More intense than any round of Call of Duty. The scent of her perfume still lingered. Isabel let go of my arm. "Thank you for today." Her voice was laced with a bit of exhaustion. "Anytime. Happy to help." I try to sound like some kind of modern-day knight. I just can't stand guys like that. She let out a soft laugh. "You're interesting. My name is Isabel Thorne." "Nice to meet you. I'm ID badge man," I said, pointing to my chest. That made her laugh again, a real, bright sound this time. "You're Ethan Vance, right?" "Yeah." The air suddenly got a little quiet. I scratched the back of my head, trying to break the awkwardness. "Well, if there's nothing else, I should probably go. Get that burrito. The stand is going to close soon." Isabel watched me, a thoughtful look in her eyes. "Ethan, how about we make a deal?" I froze. "A deal? Is this one of those indecent proposal situations?" "Ma'am, I'm not that kind of guy. But if you insist, I'm not entirely opposed to hearing you out." "What kind of deal?" I asked, trying to sound cool. "Pretend to be my boyfriend. For 1 month. Help me get Trevor Kingston off my back for good." She took a card out of her handbag. "There's $20,000 on this card. That's your signing bonus. When it's done, I'll give you another 30. I stared at the sleek black car, my mind racing. 50 grand. How many years of soul-crushing graphic design work would that take me? This wasn't just an indecent proposal. This was a one-way ticket to Easy Street. But, as a man of principle, I couldn't let myself be corrupted by money. Slowly, firmly, I reached out my hand and pushed the card back toward her. A flash of surprise crossed Isabel's face. Not enough. No, 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 I said, waving my hands. It's not about the money. I took a deep breath. I looked her straight in the eye, my expression one of pure sincerity. Isabel, I'm not helping you for the money. I just genuinely want to help you. Guys like Trevor are like mosquitoes, buzzing around and being annoying. And I'm an expert at swatting mosquitoes. Isabel just stared at me for a few long seconds. Her expressive eyes were a mix of emotions. Surprise, scrutiny, and maybe even a little approval. You're sure? Positive. A man's got to have a code. Isabel blinked, then let out a laugh that made her whole body shake. You're one of a kind. She put the card away and extended her hand to me. Well then, Mr. Vance, pleasure doing business with you. I shook her soft hand, the skin smooth as silk. The pleasure's all mine, Isabel. The next day, I got a call from my new boss and fake girlfriend. Isabel's voice came through the phone, a little husky and magnetic. Ethan, are you awake? I glanced out the window. The sun was high in the sky. Awake? Been awake for hours, just doing my morning workout in the park. Building a better tomorrow, one push-up at a time. I said all this while struggling to untangle myself from my bedsheets. A light chuckle came from the other end. Is that so? Then you must be the first person to work out in his pajamas. My heart skipped a beat. How did she know? Does she have cameras in my apartment? How did you? Look out your bedroom window. Across the street. Confused, I stumbled over and opened my blinds. Across the street was a luxury high-rise. And on one of the balconies, Isabel was holding a pair of binoculars and waving at me. She was wearing a silk robe, her long hair draped over her shoulders. Speechless. Of course. Rich people. They don't rent apartments. They just buy the whole building for a better view. Isabel. Morning. I gave an awkward wave back. It's not morning anymore, sleepyhead. You have 30 minutes. Shower and get dressed. I'm taking you somewhere. Half an hour later, I was standing next to Isabel's car, a fiery red Maserati. I looked at the car, then I looked at my t-shirt and jeans. The vibes did not match. Where are we going? I buckled my seatbelt and asked curiously. To get you a new wardrobe, Isabel said as she pulled out into traffic. If you're going to be my boyfriend, you can't look like you just rolled out of bed. I don't want to give guys like Trevor any more ammunition. I rubbed my nose. I think I look fine. I'm comfortable. Your comfort is your business. My reputation is mine. She glanced over at me. Be a good boy and listen. Okay, the boss had spoken. What was a humble employee like me supposed to say? The car pulled into the underground garage of a ridiculously upscale mall. Isabel led me into a men's clothing store that looked like it charged you just for breathing its air. A sales associate spotted Isabel and immediately rushed over. Ms. Thorne, welcome. And this is... The associate's eyes landed on me. A professional smile plastered on her face. My boyfriend, Isabel said casually. She turned to me, her voice softening. Honey, see, anything you like? Pick whatever you want. The honey sent a shiver down my spine. Damn, she gets into character fast. I looked at the price tags and saw way too many zeros. My heart started to bleed. This wasn't shopping. This was financial assault. I think it's all pretty nice, I mumbled. The associate, Isabel said, pointing with a delicate finger. That suit, that one over there, and that one. Have them all wrapped and sent to my apartment across from this one. The associate's smile could have split her face in two. Of course, Ms. Thorne. I just stood there, jaw on the floor. Is this what being rich is like? You just buy clothes without even trying them on. Come on, next stop, Isabel said, linking her arm with mine again. I felt like some kind of gigolo being paraded around by a sugar mama. Which wasn't too far from the truth, I guess. We spent the whole morning shopping, from clothes and shoes to watches and accessories. Isabel basically gave me a complete head-to-toe overhaul. By the time we sat down at a fancy restaurant, I barely recognized the guy staring back at me from the reflection in the window. A perfectly tailored blazer made my shoulders look broader. The understated but obviously expensive watch on my wrist gleamed in the light. Clothes really do make the man. The old saying was no joke. So, Isabel took a sip of her coffee, a playful smile on her lips. How are you adjusting to your new identity? Reporting for duty, boss, I said, sitting up straight. Feeling good, ready for combat at a moment's notice. She laughed. You're ridiculous. By the way, to make our relationship more believable, we should exchange some basic information. That way we won't get caught off guard if someone asks. Good point, I nodded. I'll go first. Ethan Vance, 23. Grew up in the foster system. Got through college on scholarships and part-time jobs. Currently a junior designer at a small firm. Hobbies are video games and anime. Special talent is cooking. I said it all without hesitation. It was the truth, nothing to hide. Isabel listened quietly. There wasn't a hint of pity or judgment in her eyes. My turn. Isabel Thorne, 29. Parents divorced when I was young, both remarried. Started working at 16 to support myself. Started my own company after college. Hobby is work. Special talent is making money. She finished with a playful wink. I was stunned. I had assumed she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. I never would have guessed she was a self-made woman who had fought for everything she had. That line about her hobby being work and her talent being making money. It sounded so casual, but I could only imagine the years of struggle and sacrifice hidden behind it. A newfound respect for her bloomed in my chest. What is it? She asked, noticing me staring. Don't look at me like that. Are you mesmerized by my glorious life story? I snapped out of it and smiled. Yeah, it's pretty damn impressive. I feel like a level 1 player who just got handed legendary gear. What legendary gear? You? I blurted out. I regretted it the second the word left my mouth. Did that sound like a confession? The atmosphere instantly shifted. A faint blush crept up Isabel's cheeks. She lifted her coffee cup, taking a sip to hide her expression. Smooth talker. Just then, a voice shattered the moment. Well, if it isn't Isabel Thorne. I turned to see Trevor Kingston and his arm candy, Tiffany. Some people are just like a bad rash. Trevor's gaze swept over me, thick with contempt. What's this? You put a monkey in a suit and think it's a man? Isabel, your taste gets worse by the day. Did you really pick a boyfriend out of the gutter and then spend a fortune to clean him up? Tiffany covered her mouth, giggling. Izzy, why would you do that? You get a boy toy and you have to pay to dress him up too. That's so embarrassing for you. Before I could say a word, Isabel set down her coffee cup. Trevor, watch your mouth. It's perfectly normal for me to buy clothes for my boyfriend. Unlike some people, who can't even give their gifts away. Her words hit him right where it hurt. It was a well-known joke in their social circle that he had tried to woo her with extravagant gifts, all of which were sent back untouched. Trevor's face turned the color of week-old meat. Isabel, don't push it. You think I don't know what's going on? He's just some guy you hired to put on a show. Besides his face, what's he even got? Does a guy like him even deserve you? He turned to me, his expression arrogant. Listen, kid, I don't care how much she's paying you. Get the hell away from her. Right now, or I'll make sure you can't find a job in this city ever again. I laughed. Mr. Kingston, you talk a big game. You'd think you own the whole city. I casually draped my arm over the back of Isabel's chair. My girl and I are together because we're in love. A concept that someone like you, who only thinks in terms of transactions, would never understand. And finally, I leaned down and gently kissed Isabel on the cheek. Her body tensed for a second, but then she relaxed. She even turned her head slightly, playing along perfectly. I straightened up. I looked at the stunned faces of Trevor and Tiffany. See, we're doing just fine, so you can stop worrying about us. Trevor was shaking with rage. You dare kiss her? Why wouldn't I? I shot back. She's my girlfriend. We could do a lot more than just kiss, and it still wouldn't be any of your business, right? As soon as I said that, Isabel's face flushed a deep red. She pinched my side hard. Ouch! Woman, are you trying to murder your loving, fake husband? Trevor looked like he had just swallowed a bug. It was magnificent. Fina, Ethan Vance, is it? You've got guts. Trevor pointed a finger at me, spitting out one last threat. We're not done here. With that, he stormed off. The restaurant was quiet again. I let out a sigh of relief and sat back down. Nice performance. Isabel's voice floated over, cool as ever. A little ad-libbing. Do I get a bonus? I asked with a grin. No bonus. How about a slap instead? She glared at me, but there was no real anger in her eyes. The blush on her cheeks hadn't quite faded. Who told you to kiss me? Tactical necessity. I bullshitted with a straight face. And look, it worked like a charm. We totally wiped the floor with him. Isabel just huffed and didn't press the issue. She picked up her fork and started stabbing at the steak on her plate. But that last comment you made was a bit much. Which one? The doing more part. Her voice got quieter and quieter. Seeing her so uncharacteristically flustered was unexpectedly cute. This woman, who usually commanded a room with an aura 10 feet wide, was actually shy. Oh, that was just to make it more convincing. We are, after all, a couple in the passionate throes of new love. Isabel looked up, a half-smile playing on her lips. Is that right? Well then, as a couple in love, shouldn't we act like it? For instance, I had a bad feeling about this. For instance, you could come over to my place tonight and help me fix my computer. She said, it keeps getting the blue screen of death. So, my duties as a boyfriend include fending off jerks and being a part-time IT guy. I feel like I didn't read the fine print on this contract. That evening, filled with the noble spirit of helping my boss, I walked into Isabel's home. Her apartment and my tiny shoebox of a rental were in different universes. The decor was understated luxury, minimalist but classy. The air was filled with a faint, pleasant scent, the same one that lingered on her. Make yourself comfortable. Isabel handed me a pair of slippers. What would you like to drink? Wine? Juice? Juice is fine, thanks. I didn't want to risk drinking on the job. What if I had too much and my goofy, true self came out? Isabel's computer was in her home office. I took a look and saw it was just a minor system glitch and a loose stick of RAM. For a designer who taught himself basic IT in college, this was child's play. A few clicks and a little push, and I had it sorted. All set. I clapped my hands together. If it happens again, just try restarting it. Restarting solves 50% of all computer problems. If that doesn't work, restart it again. That'll solve 100% of them. Isabel came in with the juice, leaning against the doorframe and watching me with an amused smile. I didn't know you knew how to do this. I dabble. I said modestly, taught myself in college. Figured the more skills I had, the easier it would be to find a job. She walked over and sat down next to me. Her scent instantly enveloped me. So your current job, is it going well? It's fine, I shrugged. Draw, revise, draw, revise. The client is always right, even when they're wrong. Ever thought about a change of scenery? She asked suddenly. Like coming to work for my company. I paused. Your company? Doing what? Being the office mascot. I could set you up with a position and strategy. You're quick on your feet, and you have good ideas. You'd be perfect for it. She was looking at me seriously. She wasn't joking. I was touched. She was genuinely trying to help me out. But, thank you, Isabel. But I think I'm good for now. My company might be small, but the people are great. Super supportive environment, I said, half joking. The truth was, I didn't want to complicate our arrangement. Contract couple, and she's my boss. That was a recipe for disaster. Isabel seemed to understand. She didn't push it. All right, but the offer stands. If you ever change your mind, you call me first. You got it, I nodded. The mood was good. I suddenly remembered something. Hey, Isabel, I am curious. You're so amazing. Why are you single? Even a clown like Trevor has the guts to chase after you. Logically, you should have a line of suitors from here to Europe. Isabel gave a self-deprecating smile. Maybe that's the problem. I seem too. Amazing. She picked up a glass of red wine from her desk, swirling it gently. Most men see me as a powerhouse. Someone who doesn't need a man. They only see the strong side, not the side that gets tired and just wants some company. And she paused, her eyes looking a little sad. At my age, it's hard to find that pure, simple kind of affection anymore. Everyone is thinking about family background, connections, benefits. It's exhausting. Looking at her, my heart ached a little. So, beneath that tough exterior was a soft, tired heart. That's not true. The words just flew out of my mouth. She looked up at me, confused. What's not true? You said, your age, I said, looking her straight in the eyes. To me, you're in your prime. You have your own career, you're independent. You have this elegance that only comes with experience. You're way more captivating than any girl in her early 20s. The guys who can't see that are just too shallow to deserve you. After I said it, I realized I might have said too much. The room went silent. The only sound was our breathing. Isabel's eyes were shining. She just looked at me for a long, long time. Ethan, she finally spoke, her voice a little hoarse. Say it again. Say that I'm more captivating than younger girls. Her tone was almost teasing. I must be hearing things. Ahem. Isabel, you're captivating. Period. That's just a fact. I don't need to repeat it. Suddenly, she smiled. A bright, genuine smile, like a little girl who just got a piece of candy. You'd better believe it. She stood up and stretched. Her perfect silhouette was on full display. I quickly averted my eyes, chanting, do not look in my head. It's getting late. I'll drive you home, she said. No, I'm good. It's a short walk. I shot up from my seat like I'd been electrocuted. If I stayed any longer, I wasn't sure I could control myself. At the door, I put on my shoes. Well, I'm heading out, Isabel. Good night. Wait, Isabel called out. I turned around. She walked right up to me, stood on her tiptoes. Aussuft, Vormkish, landed gently on my forehead. My brain crashed. Again. Good night, she whispered in my ear. My little boyfriend. And then she closed the door. I stood there in the hallway like a statue. After a long moment, I lifted a hand to my forehead. I could still feel the warmth, the scent of her. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I am screwed. Ethan Vance, you're getting way too into this role. It's just a contract. Get a grip. I screamed at myself internally, while a ridiculously stupid grin spread across my face. In the days that followed, a routine formed. Isabel would drive me to work. She'd take me out to eat at all sorts of restaurants I'd only ever seen on the Food Network. We'd go to the movies, in those VIP theaters with the reclining seats. She'd hold my arm naturally. I'd carry her purse without a second thought. Sometimes, when we were out, she'd deliberately tease me, like suddenly leaning in to fix my tie, her fingers brushing against my neck, making onlookers stare. One day I was at my desk, deep in a design file. My coworker, a big guy named Frank, rolled his chair over. Ethan, my man, what's going on with you lately? He said, wiggling his eyebrows. Getting picked up in a fancy car every day, wearing designer clothes. Spill it. Did you finally get a sugar mama? I shot him a look. Get out of here. You're the one with a sugar mama. I'm in a relationship, you Neanderthal. A relationship? Frank looked skeptical. You? Single since birth. Which angel fell from heaven and lost her damn mind? I was about to fire back when the receptionist came rushing over. Ethan, someone's here to see you. I was confused. Who would come to my office? I walked to the entrance and saw someone I never expected. Tiffany. She was dressed in a simple white dress today, trying for an innocent look. But the arrogant expression on her face ruined the effect. What do you want? I asked flatly. Ethan, we need to talk. She got straight to the point. I'm not interested, I said, turning to leave. It's about Isabel. Her words stopped me in my tracks. We ended up at a coffee shop downstairs. All right, what is it? I didn't have much patience for this. Tiffany stirred her latte, speaking slowly. Ethan, you're a smart guy. You should know that you and Isabel are from different worlds. She's just using you as a shield to make Trevor mad. Once she gets bored, she'll kick you to the curb. I leaned back in my chair, saying nothing, letting her continue her little performance. I came here today to offer you a better path. She took a check out of her purse and pushed it across the table. $100,000. All you have to do is leave Isabel and tell everyone she paid you to be your fake boyfriend. And this money is all yours. I glanced at the check. $100,000. Way more than what Isabel offered. Trevor was really pulling out all the stops. So, Tiffany saw me hesitate and thought I was tempted. $100,000. That's enough to buy a nice house back home. Live comfortably for the rest of your life. Why waste your time on Isabel? Anything she can give you, Trevor can give you more. I smiled. Miss Tiffany, right? Do you watch too many soap operas? This whole throwing money at the problem cliché is a little outdated, don't you think? Tiffany's face stiffened. What are you trying to say? It's simple. I pushed the check back to her. 1. Isabel and I are in love. We're not acting. 2. You could offer me $1 million, $10 million, and I still wouldn't leave her. And 3. Go back and tell Trevor to stop with these pathetic games. If he has any guts, he should compete fairly. Not that it would matter. he'd still lose, because Isabel is mine. Tiffany was stunned by my confidence. Her face went through several shades of pale and red. Ethan, don't be an idiot. You're going to regret this. Regret it? I scoffed. The only thing I'd regret is taking your money today, because then I'd be just like you and him. Another person whose loyalty can be bought, and I would never be worthy of her. With that, I stood up and walked away, not looking back. I left Tiffany sitting there, her expression uglier than a pile of garbage. Back at the office, I was annoyed. Trevor and Tiffany were like a couple of gnats you couldn't get rid of. They couldn't really hurt me, but they were damn irritating. I pulled out my phone, thinking of texting Isabel to tell her what happened. But then I decided against it. She had enough on her plate with work. She didn't need to worry about this petty stuff. I could handle it. But before the end of the day, my phone rang. It was Isabel. Her voice was cold. Come downstairs. I'm outside your office. My stomach dropped. Did Tiffany go to her? My heart pounding, I went downstairs. Sure enough, her red Maserati was parked by the curb. She was in the driver's seat, wearing sunglasses, her expression unreadable. I opened the door and got in. What's wrong? I asked cautiously. She didn't say a word, just handed me her phone. On the screen was a photo. It was me and Tiffany in the coffee shop. The angle was tricky. It looked like I was gazing lovingly at her. And on the table between us was the check. Beneath the photo was a text message. Isabel, looks like your little boyfriend isn't so loyal after all. 100 grand was all it took to make him turn on you. I wonder if I offered 200, would he get on his knees and beg me? The sender was Trevor. I understood immediately. That son of a bitch didn't just have someone spy on us. He twisted the whole story. It's not what you think, I explained quickly. Tiffany came to me. She tried to pay me to leave you. I refused. They must have taken this picture on purpose. Isabel listened, but still didn't speak. She just looked at me. I couldn't read her eyes behind the sunglasses. My heart sank. She didn't believe me. I guess it made sense. We were just in a contract relationship. Why should she trust me? In her eyes, I probably was just some poor kid who could be bought. Finally, Isabel took off her sunglasses. Her eyes held no doubt, no anger, just a calm stillness, and a hint of a smile I couldn't quite decipher. Why wouldn't I believe you? She asked. I was floored. Huh, I know what kind of person Trevor is better than you do. I'm not surprised he'd pull a stunt like this. As for you, she reached out and gently pinched my cheek. I trust my own judgment. The man I choose wouldn't be so spineless. In that moment, it felt like something slammed into my heart. A warm, soft feeling. She had believed me all along. Then, why did you sound so serious? I thought you were mad. Oh, I am mad, she huffed. I'm mad that you didn't tell me something this big happened. What do you take me for? Or do you just not see me as someone on your team? I finally got it. She wasn't mad that I might have been bought. She was mad that I had shut her out. A warmth spread through my chest. That's not what I meant. I just didn't want you to worry about something so stupid. Stupid? She raised an eyebrow. They were messing with my boyfriend. How was that stupid? She put her sunglasses back on and started the car. Hold on. Your girl is about to go get you some justice. The engine roared and the car shot forward. I looked at her profile as she drove, focused and determined. Beautiful and badass. Suddenly, I thought that having a girlfriend like this was pretty great. No, it was amazing. Isabel drove straight to a high-end private club. Trevor and his friends usually hang out here at night, she said, unbuckling her seatbelt. When we go in, follow my lead. Got it, I nodded. Today, I wasn't just Ethan. I was the loyal knight about to follow his queen into battle. The moment we walked in, the manager hurried over. Ms. Thorne, welcome. Which room is Trevor Kingston in? Isabel asked, cutting straight to the chase. The manager looked hesitant. Ms. Thorne, that's against our policy. Isabel took a card from her purse and tossed it to him. Is it against policy now? The manager glanced at the card. His attitude did a complete 180. Not at all. Not at all. Mr. Kingston is in the celestial suite. We headed straight for the suite. Before we even got to the door, we could hear Trevor's obnoxious laughter. And I'm telling you, that kid Ethan is a total pushover. 100 grand, and his eyes practically popped out of his head. If Isabel hadn't been watching him so closely, he would have been on his knees right there. Tiffany's voice chimed in. I know, right? What a broke loser, pretending to have principles. A wave of laughter erupted from the room. Isabel's face was like ice. She gave me a look. I nodded and kicked the door open. With a loud bang, the room went dead silent. Everyone stared at us, mouths hanging open. The smiles on Trevor and Tiffany's faces froze. Who? Who the hell? Trevor started to curse, but stopped when he saw it was Isabel. Isabel, what are you doing here? Isabel ignored him. She strode into the center of the room, her heels clicking on the floor. Her powerful presence made everyone instinctively shrink back. She scanned the room, her gaze finally landing on Trevor. Trevor, who did you just call a pushover? Trevor's face was a chaotic mess of colors. I didn't say anything. Didn't you? I trust my man. But you, Trevor, using such pathetic tricks to try and drive a wedge between us. Aren't you embarrassed? Or is this all you can do when you fail to get the girl? Throw a tantrum to feel important. Trevor was so flustered he couldn't speak. The other people in the room started looking at him differently, trying to sabotage a relationship because you got rejected. It was pretty pathetic. And you, Tiffany. Isabel's gaze shifted to her. Tiffany flinched. Taking a check for $100,000 to try and buy my boyfriend. Do you really think the love I have is only worth $100,000? Or in your world, can everything be bought and sold? If you love money that much, why don't you go work at a bank and count it all day? Tiffany's face was beet red. Tears welled up in her eyes. You what? Isabel took a step closer. Trevor put you up to it, didn't he? Tiffany instinctively glanced at Trevor. He was frantically signaling her to deny it. But it was too late. She was too terrified by Isabel's aura. Yes, Trevor asked me to. He said, if I did it, he would buy me a Birkin bag. The whole room gasped. Trevor looked like he was about to have a stroke. Idiot. What an absolute idiot. Isabel sneered. Excellent. She turned back to Trevor. Now we have a confession and a witness. So, Mr. Kingston, do you have anything else to say for yourself? Trevor was furious and humiliated. Isabel, don't take it too far. So what if I did it? I can't stand seeing you with some broke loser. Other than his face, what does he have that you don't? What can he give you? Can he buy you the limited edition bags you like? Can he take you to 3 Michelin star restaurants? Can he give you everything that I have right now? He got more and more worked up, practically screaming. I stepped forward, standing in front of Isabel. I looked Trevor straight in the eye. You're right. I can't give her any of those things. But I can give her things you never could. Like what? Trevor scoffed. Like, I can cook her a homemade meal of all her favorite foods. Instead of just taking her to some cold, stuffy restaurant. Like, I could spend a whole night on the couch with her, watching a stupid movie and listening to her complain about the plot. Instead of just dragging her to some loud party to make small talk with strangers. Like, when she's tired, I can give her a shoulder to lean on. When she's sad, I can give her a hug. And most importantly, I paused and said each word clearly. I can give her my heart, a heart that isn't looking for anything in return, that loves her for who she is. Trevor, can you give her that? The room was silent. Trevor opened his mouth, but no words came out. Because I was right. He could give Isabel things. I could give her myself. Anyone could see which was more valuable. Isabel stood behind me, quietly watching my back. Her gaze was warm. Well said. Trevor, I don't care about the things you have. Because I'm my own damn powerhouse. She spoke softly. Then, in front of everyone, she stood on her tiptoes and pressed her lips to mine. This kiss was different from the one in the restaurant. That one was tactical. This one was a reward, a declaration, and completely instinctive. My heart went into overdrive. Trevor and Tiffany watched us kiss, their faces looking like they'd just eaten dirt. A double kill. Absolutely fatal. Trevor. Isabel pulled back, looking at him and delivering the final blow. I'm going to make this very clear. Ethan is the man I've chosen. If you ever dare to bother him again, or say one bad word about him in front of me, I will make it my personal mission to destroy you and your family's business. We can all go down in flames together. Her voice was calm, but everyone in that room knew she had the power to do it. If it came to a fight, the Kingston family wouldn't stand a chance. Trevor was completely defeated. He looked at Isabel, his eyes filled with resentment, anger, and most of all, fear. Let's go. Isabel took my hand, and we walked out, leaving a room full of people staring after us. Outside, the The cool night air felt good on my face. I looked at the woman beside me, the woman who had just gone to war for me. My heart was a mess of emotions. Thank you for what you did back there, I said sincerely. For what? She raised an eyebrow. For believing me. For sticking up for me. You're my boyfriend. Who else would I stick up for? But her tone shifted. That speech you gave was pretty good. Even I was a little moved. Did you have that prepared? No way, I denied instantly. That was all from the heart. Oh, really? She leaned in close, a mischievous glint in her eyes. Well then, let me ask you something. You said you could cook me a homemade meal. When are you going to make good on that promise? Ma'am, is your main takeaway from this epic showdown really about food? To make good on my promise. That weekend, I was abducted and taken to Isabel's apartment, under the guise of testing my boyfriend's culinary skills. I stared at her kitchen, which was the size of a professional restaurant's, and her fridge, which was stocked with ingredients I couldn't even name. The pressure was immense. My entire repertoire consisted of scrambled eggs with tomato and Coke braised chicken wings. I was completely out of my league. So, what would you like to eat? I asked, my voice cracking slightly. Whatever. Isabel gave me the world's most difficult answer, then plopped down on the living room couch with a tub of ice cream and turned on the TV, ready to be served. All right, I dug this grave, now I have to lie in it. I tied on the pink, lace-fringed apron she provided. I was pretty sure she bought it specifically to humiliate me. An hour later, 4 dishes and a soup were on the table. Scrambled eggs with tomato, Coke braised chicken wings, stir-fried broccoli, and a cucumber salad, plus a simple seaweed and egg drop soup. All my greatest hits. It didn't look like much, but it smelled pretty good, actually. Dinner's ready, I yelled. Isabel came over, drawn by the smell. She looked at my creations on the table, her expression unreadable. Ethan, this is what you meant by a homemade meal. Yep, I said proudly. What do you think? Very down to earth, right? She picked up her chopsticks, grabbed a chicken wing, and took a bite. Her eyes lit up. This is actually really good. The sweetness is perfect. She tried the scrambled eggs. This is good too. Sweet and savory. It goes great with the rice. Her approval was like a shot of adrenaline. Of course. Let me tell you, my Coke braised chicken wings are legendary. Well then, you'll have to make them for me often, she said, her mouth full. She looked like a cat that had just stolen a fish, absolutely adorable. Seeing her eat with such enjoyment filled me with a sense of accomplishment. This was even better than getting a design approved by a client on the first try. The meal ended in a warm, comfortable atmosphere. When she stood at the sink, wearing that ridiculous pink apron and carefully washing the dishes. I leaned against the kitchen doorway, watching her. A thought popped into my head. What if we weren't acting? What if we were a real couple? A life like this? It seemed pretty good. The thought scared me. Ethan, what are you thinking? This is a contract. In 1 month, it's over. Don't get ahead of yourself. As I was having this internal battle, Isabel suddenly turned around. What are you daydreaming about? Come here and help me. You walked over. What's up? Here. She gestured her back. The apron string is loose. Can you tie it for me? I looked at the pale skin of her neck, at the dangling string, and swallowed hard. My hand trembled as I reached out to tie it. My fingers accidentally brushed against the skin on her back. It was warm and smooth. Her body tensed up. The atmosphere instantly became charged. There, I said, pulling my hand back like I'd been burned. Thanks, she murmured, turning back to the dishes. But the tips of her ears were bright red. I stood behind her, watching her red ears, my heart pounding like a drum. I'm done for. This is it. I think. I'm actually falling for her. That night, I tossed and turned in my small bed, unable to sleep. My mind was filled with images of Isabel. Her powerful side, her gentle side, her shy side, her satisfied expression as she ate my cooking. Every single image was crystal clear. I opened my phone and went to our message thread. The last messages were from that morning. Me, hey boss, what's on the menu for today? Her, whatever. Me, roger that. What could I say to her now? Talk about work. Too formal. The weather? Too awkward. After much thought, I sent a sticker. A gif of a kitten peeking out. You up? A long time passed before she replied. Yeah, thinking about you. Those 3 words made my heart skip a beat. She was thinking about me. What did that mean? Was it a boss thinking about her employee, or I didn't dare to hope? Me, thinking what about me? Her, thinking about when you're going to cook for me again. Okay, I got ahead of myself. She's just a foodie. But why did I feel a little happy? Me, anytime you want. Her, you said it. Her, I want sweet and sour ribs tomorrow. Me, I don't know how to make that. Her, then learn. Her, a good boyfriend should try to satisfy his girlfriend's reasonable requests. Me, as you wish, my queen. I put down my phone, not sure whether to laugh or cry. This wasn't a contract relationship. This was a chef and his foodie boss. But why didn't I mind? In fact, I was kind of looking forward to tomorrow. I opened YouTube and started searching for easy sweet and sour ribs recipe. Looks like my journey as a chef was just beginning. After unlocking my new skill as a house husband, our relationship became more and more like a real couple's. Every day after work, I'd go to the grocery store, then to her place to cook. She got used to coming home to a warm meal. Sometimes she'd work late, and I'd leave her dinner warming on the stove. The way she looked at me then was always filled with a soft, gentle emotion I couldn't quite name. And Trevor and Tiffany, after their public humiliation at the club, seemed to have finally given up. They hadn't bothered us since. Life suddenly became peaceful and beautiful. So beautiful that I started to believe a dangerous illusion, that we could really go on like this forever. But a contract is a contract, and 1 month goes by fast. That day, after I finished cooking, we sat at the dinner table. The silence was heavy. We both knew tomorrow was the last day of our contract. After tomorrow, I won't be coming over to cook anymore, I said, breaking the silence. Yeah, she mumbled, pushing rice around in her bowl. I transferred the rest of your payment to your account. 50,000, the full amount. Okay, I said, but my chest felt tight. It hurt. So, what about Trevor? What if he starts bothering you again? I'll handle it. Her voice was back to its usual confident tone. Good. We fell silent again. The food was tasteless. After dinner, I cleaned the kitchen as usual and stood at the door, ready to leave. This was the last time I would be standing here as her boyfriend. Isabel. Thank you for this past month. I said, thank you for letting me experience what it's like to be rich. And thank you for making me feel needed. It was nice. Isabel didn't turn around. Her shoulders trembled slightly. Well, I'm going now. I turned to open the door. Ethan, she called my name. I looked back. She had turned around too. Her eyes were red, like she had been crying. Are you? I started to ask what was wrong, but she suddenly rushed over and threw her arms around me, burying her head in my chest. Her body was shaking with silent sobs. Don't go. She choked out. Please don't go. I froze, my mind completely blank. I like you, Ethan. She looked up at me, her eyes swimming with tears. I don't know when it happened, but I've gotten used to having you around. Used to seeing you when I come home. Used to eating your food. Used to you calling me Isabel. The thought of you leaving tomorrow. It hurts so much. I don't want a contract to end. I really, really don't. Her words exploded in my mind. She likes me? This isn't an act? Looking at her tear-stained, sincere face, I finally knew. This was real. A wave of pure joy washed over me. I hugged her back tightly. Isabel, I gently wiped the tears from her cheeks. I like you too. A lot. From the first moment you grabbed my arm, I knew I was in trouble. I don't want to break up with you either. I want to cook for you for the rest of my life. I want to be your real boyfriend. Isabel stared at me, stunned. Then, she laughed through her tears. You too. Why didn't you say anything? I thought you were just doing it for the money. I gently tapped her nose. If I was just in it for the money, I wouldn't have pushed that card back on the first day. I was playing the long game, trying to catch a big fish. And you're a mermaid. She laughed, playfully punching my chest. Smooth talker. We held each other, laughing for a long time. We had both been so careful, so scared that this was all just a dream. But we had fallen for each other for real. So, she looked up at me. Are we like official now? What do you think? I leaned down and kissed her. This kiss was different from all the others. There was no pretense, no acting. Just pure love and the joy of finding something you thought you'd lost. We kissed for a long, long time, until we were both breathless. Ethan, yeah, I am hungry. Didn't we just eat? All that crying used up a lot of energy. I want your sweet and sour ribs. All right. My fate as a house husband was sealed. but I wouldn't have it any other way. Isabel and I officially went from contract couple to a real couple. Life didn't seem to change much. I still cooked for her every day. She still enjoyed being fed. But at the same time, everything had changed. The air between us was sweeter, more intimate. She would act like a little girl sometimes, asking for my attention. I would give her back rubs when she was tired from work. We shared everything, our lives, our joys, our sorrows. It was a strange, wonderful feeling, like two separate planets that had finally found each other's orbit and began to revolve around a shared center. One day, Isabel told me her company was holding its annual anniversary gala. She wanted me to go with her as her boyfriend. This time, it's for real, she said with a smile, adjusting my tie. You have to make me look good. Don't worry, I said, puffing out my chest. Mission accepted. On the night of the gala, I wore the designer suit Isabel had bought for me. I looked in a mirror and thought, damn, that guy's handsome. I want to pick her up. When she came down the stairs in a floor-length, silver mermaid gown, the world went silent. She was like a moon goddess, elegant, regal, impossibly beautiful. Speechless? She asked, doing a playful twirl in front of me. Yeah, I nodded honestly. Is my girlfriend an actual angel? Oh, stop, she said, but she couldn't hide the smile in her eyes. We walked into the ballroom together and instantly became the center of attention. Isabel was known as the ice queen of the business world. She had never brought a date to any event. Tonight, she not only had a date, but she was holding his arm intimately. All eyes were on me. Curiosity, jealousy, and contempt. I could hear the whispers. Who's that guy? Never seen him before. He looks young. Is that Ms. Thorne's new boy toy? Probably. Look at the way she's looking at him. It's sickening. The whispers got to me. Isabel sensed my tension. She squeezed my hand. Ignore them. They're just a bunch of gossips. All you need to remember is that you're my man. That's all that matters. Her words calmed me instantly. She was right. Why should I care what they think? Her opinion was the only one that mattered. Just then, two unwelcome guests appeared. Trevor and Tiffany. The Kingston family company had some business dealings with Isabel's. Trevor was dressed to the nines, but the venom in his eyes ruined the look. Tiffany just looked smug. Well, Ms. Thorne, Mr. Vance, Trevor said in a slimy voice. You two seem to be getting along swimmingly. Isabel's voice was flat. I'm surprised you have the nerve to show your face in front of me. Trevor's face twitched. Isabel, don't get too comfortable. You think finding a boy toy solves all your problems? I'm telling you, tonight, I'm going to ruin you. Both of you. He raised his voice, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. Ladies and gentlemen, he shouted, stepping onto a small stage like a clown. Tonight, I am here to expose a massive fraud. The happy couple you see before you, Isabel Thorne and her so-called boyfriend, have been acting this whole time. Ethan Vance is just an actor Isabel hired. The crowd erupted in gasps and murmurs. Isabel's face went pale. Trevor, are you insane? Insane? Trevor laughed manically. I'm not insane. I have proof. He pulled a stack of papers from his pocket and threw them on the floor. These are the bank records of Isabel's payments to Ethan. $50,000. And this. He held up a flash drive. On here is the contract they signed to be a fake couple. Take a look, everyone. This is the fairy tale romance you've all been admiring. It's nothing but a cold, hard business transaction. The ballroom exploded. Everyone was staring at us, their expressions a mix of scorn, pity, and amusement. Isabel was white as a sheet. She never thought Trevor would stoop so low. He must have bribed her assistant to steal the contract. Tiffany was smirking, looking like she'd already won. I looked at the chaos and squeezed Isabel's cold hand. I leaned in and whispered, "Don't worry, I've got this." I walked forward and picked up the contract and the bank statement from the floor. I looked at Trevor and smiled. Mr. Kingston, you've really gone to a lot of trouble, using such dirty tricks just to try and break us up. But you seem to have missed one crucial detail. What detail? Trevor asked, a flicker of doubt in his eyes. All of this is true. The crowd gasped again. Even Isabel looked at me in shock. But, I continued, my voice ringing through the room. That's not the whole story. I picked up a microphone. In the beginning, it's true that Isabel hired me to be her boyfriend. She was being relentlessly harassed by Mr. Kingston, and this was her last resort. and that $50,000 was indeed my payment. But then, I paused for dramatic effect. Everyone leaned in. Then, over the course of that month, something happened. We fell in love. What started as a transaction became the most real thing in my life. And as for that $50,000, I reached into my pocket and pulled something out. A diamond ring. I had used the $50,000 to buy it. I had been planning this all along. I wanted to surprise her tonight. Thanks to Trevor, now everyone could witness our love. I got down on one knee. In front of hundreds of people, I held up the ring. I looked at Isabel, who was already crying. Isabel Thorne. I admit, our beginning wasn't perfect. It was actually kind of crazy. But I am so grateful for that crazy beginning because it led me to you. You are strong, independent, kind, and brilliant. You are the most amazing woman I have ever met. I used to think my life would just be an endless series of deadlines and revisions. But you showed me another possibility, a life filled with light and laughter. And I want to spend the rest of my life protecting that possibility. So, Isabel Thorne, will you marry me? My voice echoed through the silent ballroom. Time seemed to stand still. All eyes were on Isabel. She covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. But her eyes were shining brighter than ever. She looked at me and nodded fiercely. Yes. She choked out, holding out her hand. Overjoyed, I slipped a ring onto her finger. It was a perfect fit. I stood up and pulled her into a tight embrace. The ballroom erupted in thunderous applause and cheers. Everyone was moved by our story. The masterminds of the plot, Trevor and Tiffany, were completely dumbfounded. They had tried to ruin us, but instead, they had become the catalyst for our engagement. Their faces were darker than charcoal. They slunk out of the ballroom amidst the sound of our applause. I held the woman in my arms, my heart overflowing with a happiness I had never known. After the gala, Trevor and Tiffany became the laughingstocks of their social circle. Isabel sued Trevor for corporate espionage. He not only had to pay a massive settlement, but his family's company took a huge hit to its reputation and stock price. Tiffany was ostracized for her role in the scheme, her influencer career dead in the water. As for Isabel and me, we began our shamelessly happy life together. The day after the proposal, I moved in with her. I quit my job as a junior designer and started a new one at Isabel's company as her executive assistant, which basically meant I was her driver, her bodyguard, and her personal chef. And occasionally, when she was tired from work, I provided other special services, like loving hugs, loving kisses, and loving encouragement. My life was busy but fulfilling. My greatest joy was trying out new recipes to feed my queen, who was getting a little rounder around the edges. Ethan, are you trying to fatten me up like a prize pig? Isabel complained, pinching the soft flesh at her waist. Never. I wrapped my arms around her from behind, resting my chin on her shoulder. That's called happy weight. Besides, even if you were a pig, you'd be the cutest pig in the world. You and your smooth talk. She turned around and pinched my cheek. Admit it, you were planning this all along, weren't you? Of course, I confessed freely. From the first moment you fell into my arms, I was thinking, wow, I wonder if I could trick this beautiful woman into being my wife. And look, dreams do come true. She laughed, her eyes crinkling into happy crescents. Isabel leaned against my chest, looking up at me. Ethan, yeah. Thank you. For what? For coming into my life. And thank you for wanting to marry this old woman. I leaned down and stopped her words with a deep, passionate kiss. When we finally came up for air, I looked into her dazed eyes and at her swollen lips, my heart stirring. Wife, you dare call yourself an old woman one more time, and I swear I won't let you out of bed for a week. Her face turned the color of a ripe apple. You're a pervert. Only for you, I swept her up into my arms and carried her toward the bedroom. Honey, it's getting late. It's time for us to do what married people do. End.